realistic about the fact that we could lose a lot. And timing can be instantaneous, as the Oak Fire was.
We get complacent in the area where we have not had major fires. We see it around us, but we need to realize that it only takes one little ember and it can change everything.
I've lived here my whole life and I've certainly never seen anything like this. It was a good wake-up call to the power of what the river can do. We're certainly going to see more of these type of events moving forward. There's no reason to think that this is kind of a one and done. In August 2025, it was unusually hot and dry. Flows in the San Juan River were close to single digits, if not just right around 10 CFS.
We used to have a fire season. Now it's pretty much a fire year. There's been just a huge increase of fire behavior. Fires doing stuff that we never thought it would do before, and it's breaking records. I think right here with Pagosa Springs itself, we have a lot of people living in the forest. The whole area is within the wildland-urban interface.
We decided we wanted out of the city, so we just thought this is a good place, and we wanted to start ski business, which we did. And then we built our house, and in this exact spot right here, this house. So that's how we came to be in Pagosa. The forest here was very thick, which it still is, but we loved the privacy factor. Back then, I don't think we thought much about fire. Obviously, 40 some odd years, there's been a lot of changes.
I think that kind of increased knowledge as time went on. We saw there was more fires statewide, and insurance was starting to apply pressure. Probably 25 years, at least, I would say. We've been doing some mitigation. We did thinning out in the front, trying to make it a healthier ponderosa forest.
The thing about mitigating oak brush is that it is tenacious. You can get out there and cut it, and then it just springs back up.
The prevailing winds come from the west and up that hill, and I always feared the hill over here because it would climb the hill naturally and then be aided by the wind, and so we got rid of those oaks.
We definitely were trying to be proactive on it.
When I first pulled up on scene of the fire, we could see that this wasn't a normal wildland fire. The fire activity had already turned borderline extreme. The fire started in a property that had no mitigation done, which allowed the fire to quickly move into the trees. It was starting to go into the canopy, 100, 150-foot flame lengths in a residential neighborhood. Immediately, that prompted a call for aircraft to start coming. There's a lot of things that all came together at the right time. We were able to get 4 to 5 large air tankers rolling at the same time and being able to hit that fire. That was key to us being able to get some control on that fire. With suppression efforts, us having crews available, ready to go. We had a great volunteer response, was able to get out there. Our relationship with the Forest Service, where they immediately diverted the crews that they had coming this way. And then we did have help from the Sheriff's Department being able to help reach out even further for mutual aid stuff. So initially when the fire blew up, threw a bunch of embers into the air, and within half an hour to an hour, we had multiple spot fires going, being 10-foot diameter or even bigger. We did have people scouting ahead for additional fires. We found one in the next drainage, which was almost 3/4 miles away from the last part of the fire. And that's when we immediately called for the evacuation of Elk Park. We had a lot of good mitigated properties up top, but if it made it through those properties and dropped into Martinez Canyon, that's just a straight shot right into a populated portion of Pagosa Springs. And that was a huge concern of ours. I really think that if we did not get the aircraft, there's a good possibility we would have been fighting it here in town. There's a good chance this fire happened again. The same way we could have half, even quarter of the resources to be able to put this out. It may not be able to save as many homes as we were able to with this.
When we first came up and saw the house standing, there was enough of a break right there that it allowed the house to stand. It went around all sides of it in the perimeter that had been mitigated. Our garage was a complete loss.
We have a well, and all the treatment center for the well is in the garage. We'd had no water to, live in our house.
Most of our 12 acres of Ponderosa were burned.
Obviously, you start out numb. You're in shock. You cannot believe that, this has happened. And then you start with the papers and the gathering information and talking to adjusters. And the insurance companies do what they do, and you have to do what you do, which is try to protect your interest, your own interest. When you talk about smoke damage from a fire like that, you basically have to replace everything.
The thing that helped me quite a bit was to try to line everything, all the jobs that I was going to need done, from construction to painting to the overall mitigation. Sometimes you have to network into other areas, maybe public adjusters, hopefully not lawyers. But there's people out there that can help you navigate this without having it all come crashing down on you. We were out for 6 months. It's interrupted lives and cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I don't wish this on anyone in terms of the difficulty of it. You don't want your life to be all about the fire. It takes your time, and that's kind of precious. It's precious to everyone.
Then I think a month and a half later, remnants of a hurricane in the Baja just kind of worked its way up in that southwestern flow and targeted the San Juan watershed. I think over 5 days, it dropped over 12 and a half inches of water and created some severe flooding in the San Juan River through Pagosa Springs and down into the Navajo Reservoir. It was a really quick change. In the matter of a few days, it went to 20 CFS all the way up to 8,500. I think it was estimated it's between a 25 and 40 year event, so substantial but not 100-year event. The misconception on the 100-year flood is that you have a 100-year flood once every 100 years, but really those statistics are that every year you have a 1% chance of a 100-year flood. So it could happen back-to-back years, certainly in the realm of possibility. And then I think the other thing that complicates it is it's a changing climate. One thing that became clear, and I saw it all through town, places where homeowners or landowners had cleared the bank so they could see the river better or have better access were more vulnerable during the flood event for massive erosion. So I think that's important to remember the importance of the riparian vegetation. In some ways, it's the opposite of fire mitigation, where you're trying to thin out fuel for fire risk. In the river corridor, you want to maintain as much bank vegetation as possible for the stability. This event was actually really fortunate in the way that it kind of displayed the power of the river and the space that a river requires. It wasn't the biggest flow we could have, but it was significant to let everyone know that who's really in charge. So I think it's important to think about that moving forward as a community, the benefits in the long run of giving river space and thinking about the potential of flood events in the future and how we develop in the active floodplain. There's no reason to think that this is a kind of a one and done. We're in a time of more extreme events.
Definitely the thing is we need to be prepared. Complacency is always the key thing.
I think you have about 2 years after an event that people are still thinking about things. I really feel that it's imperative to get the word out there. Tell your neighbors and friends, because they could save your home by doing work on their property.
Mitigation can be very daunting. Start small. Keep the brush trimmed around your house. Don't have tree limbs touching your house. Keep grasses, weeds, and mowed down. Obviously, if we do have time to be able to look at houses and do structure protection, the people who did more were more likely to help. If we have to commit a firefighter for 3 hours to make a house safe, we're not going to do that if we can make 10 others safe during that time.
It can be expensive to hire somebody to do the mitigation. I would like to be able to convince more people to do some volunteer time to help others, those that can't, such as our elderly neighbor. We're trying to make it easier.
Maybe there's something to be said about what neighbors maybe could do for each other even. It is about community.